Hi, I'm Mathy.
And I'm Melissa from Mscupcake.
And you're watching
What the Job Is This?
Hi, Melissa.
Hello, sweetheart.
How are you?
I'm good, I'm
I
good.
haven't spoken to you in ages.
I know.
So, Melissa, do you know what? I come to your shop all the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am the not the cookie monster, the cupcake monster. And Lexi, who's filming right now, knows that because when I'm not buying a cupcake, I'm stealing hers.
Okay.
And it's all coming from here.
All right. Well,
It's all coming from here.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you.
as you know, I was overhearing that you have such an interesting story of how you actually started Mscupcake. And these are the things that I know. I heard that you started in your bedroom, and then you were working at Brixton Market, and then you ended up here. And I really want to know how it started, what happened, what were you doing before, you know, what made you do it, you know, what's that thing that kind of made you feel like, what the job is this, you know, what is my chosen career?
Well, where do I start? From the beginning.
Okay.
That's a good place, right?
Awesome.
I guess it was about 2009. I was working in primary schools teaching, and I had had lots of other careers before that. I worked as a theatre director, as a puppeteer, as you know, all kinds of different things. And after I've been teaching for a while, I became really passionate about creativity in education and how to get people excited about things in a non-conventional way. So I was sort of working as a consultant and traveling all over the country and giving talks and helping to change curriculum, and I wasn't home very much. And I thought, you know, I want to spend a bit more time at home. So I need to come up with some sort of a way I can work from home and still earn some money. And then I thought, what can I do? Well, I love making cakes, but the kind of cake I love to eat, I couldn't find in London. And I found that ridiculous because I'm originally from Canada, and the kind of cakes I wanted to eat were vegan cakes because I choose to eat a vegan diet. And so I didn't want eggs, I didn't want dairy, I didn't want any kind of animal products in my cakes. But I wanted decadent, over the top, indulgent, gorgeous celebration cakes.
I feel that.
I didn't want nothing with no sunflower seeds or flapjacks with hemp seeds. That's for the birds. So I wanted something to celebrate because food is about celebration. So I made the cakes myself for my friends and my family, and I started to think, you know, people quite like these. There's no vegan bakeries. There wasn't really very many vegan bakers out there back in 2009, and I thought, well, maybe there's room for me to start doing a bit of this. So I had this idea that I was going to be able to maybe have a market stall one day a week, do a bit of teaching freelance and do this, and then that would add a little bit of income and I'd be able to work from home. Well, that was what I thought. And so in 2009 I started to spend a lot of time at the British Library because they've got a great business centre there, and they are absolutely brilliant. They provide you with so many free services. There's loads of courses you can take, and you can really start to research the area that you are interested in starting a business in. And I didn't know how to run a business. I'd never run a business before. Do I have to tell you know, the tax people anything? How do I hire people? What's VAT? I really knew absolutely nothing, and I was able to start to learn things at the British Library, and then also by taking loads of courses offered by HMRC and just getting out there and reading things online. And once I'd sort of gotten my head a little bit around how to actually start a business, then I started to realize there was a lot of things to learn about starting a food business, because that's a whole other topic. And but you know, fast forward a lot of long nights, banging my head up against the wall, trying to find the information. I started officially April the 1st, 2010. I had my very first market stall in Greenwich. And it was amazing. It was freezing cold, and I sold 36 cupcakes. and I was on top of the world. It was the greatest experience.
Was that all the cupcakes that you made for that day?
Pretty much, you know, for me to make 3 dozen cupcakes, that was a big deal for one day. Now we sell thousands, but anyway, that's jumping ahead a little bit. And so I was so passionate about getting out there and meeting the people. The market stall seemed like the best place to do it. After a couple of weeks, what I started to realise was that there was a need for what I was doing. And so I, with the encouragement of Greenwich, started to trade there 3 days a week. And then within about 8-10 weeks later, I contacted Brixton Market in London. And then I started selling my cakes there 2 days a week. So that was 5 days a week I was at the market. So my whole idea of a tiny little business run from my home didn't actually transpire in that way. And this, just to give you a bit of a flavour of what my days were like.
Yeah.
I'd wake up sort of around 6 in the morning and pack everything up into the car to get it down to the market, because I live locally to here, to where our shop is. And the markets I was doing were on the other ends of the city, so I had to pack everything up, get there sort of 7:30, 8 in the morning to the market, set everything up, set up the whole market stall, stay at the market, sell cakes all day, whether or not people wanted to buy them or not, I had to be there. Say I sold out at 11 o'clock in the morning, I still had to stay at that market till 5:30. And when 5:30 rolled around, I'd take down the market stall, pack everything back into the car, come all the way back home, get home around 7 o'clock at night, and then I'd have to make all the cakes for the next day. So when about 1 o'clock in the morning would hit, I'd go to sleep for 5 hours and do the whole thing again. And I did this for a few months until I was at complete breaking point. I remember a turning point when my husband said to me, he said, you can't keep doing this. And I said to him, give me 1 year. If in 1 year I have not made this into a viable business, I will stop everything. So I set myself a personal deadline that I was going to turn it around, that in a year's time I was going to be able to have some sort of life-work balance back again. And for that 1 year, I worked tirelessly, 18, 19 hours a day, every single day, because I'd set myself that deadline. So let me tell you what happened in that first year. Okay, I took first, within a few months when I was working these crazy hours, I realized I needed to hire some people. Didn't know how to hire people, you know, found out from HMRC how to hire them, and I didn't know what they needed to do, but I soon realized the things I liked the least was the things they needed to do. So, and Derek, bless him, who's been with me since the beginning, he started out, his job was to make icing 8 hours a day. That was it. Just make icing. Stand there, put the icing sugar in, make the icing, put it in the pot, and make another 8 hours a day, 2 days a week he started off. And he's now the shop manager here at Mscupcake.
I know that.
And so I started having people working in my home while I was at the market stall, because I didn't want anyone to sell my cake but me, because I was the best salesperson.
I agree.
And then I decided, well, I don't want anyone to decorate the cakes but me, because I decorate them the best, was what I thought at the time. So what they were actually able to do was quite limited, but I decided, what could I give away? What could I allow someone else to do? Within a few months after that, I realized I needed more staff, and it was a turning point. This is September 2010. I realized I needed to make a decision. I needed to get this out. I had 6 months left before my husband said, get back to school, start teaching again, get the icing sugar out of my house. So what I realized I needed to do was step away for a bit. So we stopped the markets for a couple of weeks, and I went over to North America, visit family, had a bit of inspiration, and realized that there was a vegan bakery pretty much in every major city in North America.
Awesome.
So why wasn't there one in London? Why hadn't one of these big companies come over and done it? Well, why don't I do it? Now, I have no money, keep this in mind, okay? But I've been saving up every single penny that we had made as a company after I paid my suppliers, paid my staff. Every single penny was being put into this pot. And then I realized, well, I will build a shop on cupcake sales. That's it. So we went full throttle, 7 days a week at the markets, selling private orders, whatever we could do, weddings, anything to try and increase our funds. And then on April the 1st, 2011, exactly 1 year to the day of my first market stall, we opened this shop up. And it was built purely on tears, sweat, sleepless nights, hard work, and love. Love. And it just goes to show you, someone who's doesn't come from a food background, but with a keen wantingness to learn, to educate herself on how to run a business effectively, on how to do it by the books and not just sort of haphazardly go about something. And then someone with the passion and the drive and the refusal to let anyone tell her no, you can achieve what I've managed to achieve. Now, it ain't all smooth sailing. At the end of the day, we sell £2 cakes. I ain't never going to be rich on £2 cakes, I tell you that much. But you know what I will tell you, is that I now give 6 people jobs. I now can pay their salaries. I now can provide a product in London and to my local community where I live that didn't exist before. We get children who come in here, come into the market stalls, and they say, you know, their mums are there and say, you can have anything here. But mummy, is it safe? I'm allergic to eggs, I can't have it. Yeah. It is safe for you. Everything here is safe. And you know, that is worth it. That is worth it, to be able to provide a child the experience that all their other peers have. To have a birthday cake. As simple as that. So, you know, I feel like my work here is done. I've created something wonderful that I am so proud of. And you know, let's be honest. Could I have done this all just from my bedroom in the beginning days? Could it all have just been by me? Absolutely not. It's about finding people and handpicking the right people who understand where I'm coming from, who are as passionate about my cakes as I am, who are passionate about food, who are passionate about bringing the best quality product to our customers, and I convince them that they need to work for me. That's how it works. I don't know necessarily all the time when I hire someone what their job's going to be. I find out what they're good at, and then that becomes their job. But you know, it is about surrounding yourself, even in the early days, with the right people who can communicate your message. And that goes right down to the person who stood on your stall or in your shop selling your things. And I think if people put as much commitment into the people they hire as to the product they make, I think that they would have the kind of loyalty, longevity of staff as I do, you know, and I'm just proud beyond belief that they're all still standing.
You have some amazing staff.
I do, and I hold on tight. I hold on tight to them, and you know, it ain't all clean sailing. It's a clear sail, and I tell you this much: we do a lot of the old arguing. Just because we're passionate.
Yeah. And
we love our customers, and we want to provide them not only the best product, but the best experience when they come into the shop. And so it's great. And how do I support that and encourage that? Well, you know, all the staff that that have started with me, and you know, they all start sort of at the bottom. Now, all three of my managers all started by making icing. And they've gone all the way up through there. So they're glad they don't make the icing no more. You all started by making icing. So you know, it just it's great, and it's, you know, it never just stops, does it? Because when you achieve something, it's always about what's next. Because if you don't grow, you die as a business.
Totally.
And things change that you've got no control over in the industry, in the world, and you need to keep rolling with the punches, but keeping your ethos and your beliefs the same, and sticking true to them. And that's what, you know, we're doing. And so it's hard at first to step away, because all you're doing is, I just say, we're just making cake, and that applies to whatever you're doing, whether you're working as a consultant or self-employed plumber, or I don't know what you do, but whatever, you just get so worked into the act of getting money in, because that's what you need to do, you forget to look at the big picture. And by having these people around you support you and can help you and grow with you, then that allows you that time to step back and reflect. And if I hadn't had that time, we wouldn't have developed our menu to go way beyond cupcakes to now doing tray bakes and cookies and scones and layer cakes and donuts and all the other exciting things we do, plus our entire line of savory products, which we're constantly developing. It wouldn't have allowed me the time to step back and write our cookbook, which is coming out next year and being published internationally. It wouldn't allow me to step back and start doing talks and advising and encouraging other people to do what I've done. And it wouldn't have allowed me to offer classes in our bakery, which is what we do in the evenings now.
I was going to ask about your classes.
And it's directly allowing me now to hand back to people who have bought my cakes and supported my business all through the way, but also allows me to help shortcut other people who are either, they're interested in starting their own business. How did you do it? Okay, well, let me tell you. So you don't have to go through the anguish, well, not as much anguish as I had to go through in the beginning stages. You want to run a market stall? Okay, let me give you some tricks and tips that I learned in that first year when I was just bashing my head up against the wall because I didn't quite know what I was doing. You want to decorate cakes for fun? I can help you with that. So all these kind of different things, I am now, it's like a full circle. I've gone from a career as an educator to now enabling furthering education in a creative way and helping people to create businesses for themselves.
So, I not only felt very tearful as you were talking, but I'm pretty moved by how much you've done, and because there's something that is an ethos that we have at what job that the career that you were created to do. It's kind of like being the car. If you're manufactured as a specific car, you drive that way. So if you're Lamborghini, you drive like a Lamborghini, and you've taken your skills from teaching, and that's always been there with you, and you've enhanced them, and like you said, you do use them creatively, and that's a powerful thing, which a lot of people are too scared because they think that I don't have the skills to actually start a business and do that and maybe be more creative, and what can I use now? And you've demonstrated that with a lot of courage.
I think it's a really key point, because I recognize that everything I have done in my life up to the point of starting Mscupcake contributed to what Mscupcake became. My belief in education, my flair for the dramatic, my loving communicating, customer service, that kind of thing. Not my having traveled all over the world and being able to bring flavors in from all over the place. All of those experiences in my life have helped form this business, which is why people say to me, why are you teaching classes on how to run a business? You're trying to get competitors. Well, fine. That's good for me.
So you're now teaching classes how to run a business?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
It's I'll tell you, it's two reasons. One, if people start vegan businesses, for me, it's an amazing thing, because then more people will go, oh yeah, I know about vegan food. There's a cake shop in my neighborhood that's vegan.
But they don't understand it.
And exactly. And so the more vegan businesses there are out there, it won't be seen as something weird or different or odd or, oh, I wouldn't like that because I'm not vegan. I know, it's just good cake. Have the good cake. That's the one part as to why I think getting other people to start businesses is important. Number two is, and this goes into what you were saying about how everyone's business will be different. No one has had the life experiences that I have. Likewise, I've not had the life experiences that you have had. So if we were to start vegan cake businesses, they would be so dramatically different and offer such diverse different things. So that's why I'm never fazed by people saying, oh, I'm going to start a vegan cake business. I say, good for you. It will work 18 hours a day. If you're as crazy as I am. If you're as crazy as I am. And I think a lot of people probably feel, oh, it'd be great to sell cakes. And they realize very early on that it is one of the hardest businesses to start, because you're dealing with a product that is fresh and that goes off in a couple of days. It's not like making jewelry that if you don't sell anything that day, you put it back into your boxes and take it out the next day. So it is actually fraught with quite a huge amount of complications. So I always tell people, if there's anything you do other than fresh food, do it. But if that's what your passion is, then try it. But it is really, really hard. But my stubbornness has helped. I wasn't letting nobody tell me I couldn't have achieved it, and you know, I think every step along the way that you start to grow your business, you are essentially taking on another business. So when we opened the shop, because we still run market stalls, Are you guys still in Greenwich? Or
we're
not in Greenwich. We do more market stalls locally, so we do one over in Clapham every week, and we do a lot of one-off things, and we do a lot of bigger festivals now, and so a lot of our time is focused on that. And
question.
Yes.
Massive, big cupcake giants, like a huge cupcake.
Do we do giant cupcakes?
Yes.
Of course we do.
Wow.
We do everything, baby.
I know where I'm coming for my birthday.
Yeah, we do it all. We do, you know, and we do what our customers ask us to do. We do a certain style of baking, and there's certain things that we always do.
We're coming here for our birthday.
And you know, if, for example, a customer approaches us and they're looking for a traditional wedding cake with tears and sugar paste, that's not what we do, but I certainly know a good handful of vegan bakers that make those, so I tell them about those other bakers and I spread the word so they don't have to go hunting on the internet to find another cake company. So I'll let people know if it's something we don't do in-house, I'll let them know someone who does it locally to them, because why not let people I really value their cakes? I'll get them some work too along the way.
Networking.
So yeah, absolutely.
So in closing, just wanted to ask you maybe a word of advice for our growing business. How would you encourage us?
Yeah.
I've
got a couple of top tips. Do you want to hear my top? Because people ask me all the time, how did you do it in Mscupcake? How have you done it? And really, a lot of it is down to just persevering ahead. But you know, taking time to step back and look at the big picture. And allowing yourself just to not worry about the product or, you know, getting work. Step back and think, what service am I providing here? Where can I grow? Where can I go? What do I envision happening 10 years down the road, 5 years, 1 year? Where do I want to go? It doesn't matter how pie in the sky your ideas are. How ridiculous for, you know, a primary school teacher to think with no experience she could open a shop in 1 year. How ridiculous is that? How, you know, within 2 years write a cookbook to be published internationally. How stupid, but I thought of it and it's happening. So the just aim as high as you want to aim, and then you've got a goal to be working towards. Also, always pretend you know what you're doing. honestly.
I completely know what I'm doing.
And so right in the early days, people would say to me, well, you have this qualification or this accreditation or this certificate. And I say, oh, that's very important to me, of course. I'm definitely looking into that. And then I go back and Google and find out what the heck they were talking about. And then make sure I followed it up and took care of it. So always give the air that you always know what you're doing. And then
act like you know.
Act like you know, and then figure it out. Okay? The figuring out bit is the important part, or else you're just building a house of cards that's going to come tumbling down. And the other thing is, you know, in the early days when it was just me alone in my house, baking my own cakes, I still always said, we at Mscupcake. It's a very simple thing. But by using the word we, you seem like a bigger company than you are.
Yeah.
You're not lying. We, the royal we at Mscupcake believe this. But what it does is it instills confidence in your customers, in your people you're working with, that there's a support team behind you. Okay. The we at that time was my family, my friends, and anyone I could convince to go make a delivery for me. But by starting off that way, it can allow people to have faith in you, and then you will grow, because you will never let people down. Because this is my third thing: never, ever, ever take on more than you can handle.
Yeah.
Because you can get 100 compliments and 100 people saying how great you are, but that one complaint because you didn't do the cake order right, because you missed an appointment, because you forgot to do something, because it didn't quite happen, that will echo across the internet more than 100 compliments will.
Yeah.
And so I always knew, even though I was working 18 hours a day, I always knew when to say, I'm sorry, we're booked up, we can't take any more orders. And it's something we still do here at Mscupcake. Customers will come in 3 months in advance and they'll request something for a particular week, and I'm saying, I'm sorry, we're booked up for special orders, because 2 people booked their weddings that day, and that's all we can possibly do in our ovens, in addition to running our markets in our shop and the rest of it. So never, ever, ever let anyone down. And if you tell them you're too busy and you can't take them on board, they're going to think, whoa, I'm going to have to book that earlier next time, because that is something desirable. Everyone else has booked it into that. So those are my sort of top tips for any growing business.
Okay.
Yeah?
Well, Liz, I really appreciate your time. You've just shared this story, this amazing story, which is, to some people, it might just mean it's a tiny little story, but to us it means a lot, and to a lot of our readers and audience and people who are watching, it will mean something. It will inspire someone to take action and decide from wherever they are, whether sitting in, on a bus or in a car or wherever they are, and they have this tiny little idea that it's actually doable, no matter what it is and how crazy or different it may be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So thank you.
Welcome, baby. No problem.
All right.
My pleasure.
I'm going to be sorting out my cupcakes after this.
My pleasure. That's what we're here for, right?
Absolutely.
Get you some sweet goodness.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.